Hello and welcome to episode 3 of my Stanley Parable playthrough. So we're going to go and do the rest of the confusion ending that we kinda did during episode 1. So I'll be going over until we get to the big board which says confusing ending. And well, yeah, see you there. Yeah, let's go and take the door on the left. This is also available?
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous,
The text is slightly
room.
different.
Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Yeah, this was all a waste. It was all a waste what I did. So let's go and see a different path. It was close to the confusion ending, but it was different. Close. Actually, it was near the beginning. So we'll see it soon enough.
Work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door.
No, we're going straight this time, because this is a new path again.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Well, years ago,
Look, Stanley,
he was
I think perhaps
brainwashed.
we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
We'll
Please.
just jump down.
What? Really?
Yes!
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others?
At the moment?
Convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why?
Yes.
I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
I did, and it didn't go well.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
So,
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood.
No.
Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you.
thank you.
You see? There's nothing here. I
Come on,
haven't
it's a
even
ring.
finished building this section of the map because
Oh.
you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you?
Well, currently,
Look, I
yes.
put a lot of time into that, because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees?
How would
Work
those
with
help?
me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback.
Okay then,
There
let's
we
see.
go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
Really?
Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Yeah, I think this is also kind of what they meant with, if you remember the ending in episode 2, what we went first for, which I guess is the, whatchamacallit? The bug testing room ending. And in that ending, you basically have more choices. And because it's kind of like the bug testing room, this might have been initial feedback that he got, which basically told him, listen, buddy, more choices and all of these extra things aren't really good. They're not going to go and help the game. Because the two choices are the most important, the most streamlined, and the simplest option, as I also said there. They're the simplest because they give you enough choice. Either you go left and you listen to what he's saying, or you go right. And then basically, well, the game just takes you somewhere else, shows you something else, and basically acts like, haha, it's part of the game, let's go continue onward, which is something they can do. And from there on, well, you basically have the option to go straight forward, which we did this round. You can go left through the maintenance room and then basically go back on track if you so wish. Or you can go to the confusion ending by going downwards. And that is really where sort of like the choices upon choices upon choices makes this game interesting. But this one, just having an extra one, but...
Oh, well, now this is useful. You didn't like it, but you didn't totally hate it either. You enjoyed it, perhaps is the correct term. It didn't cause you
really
excruciating pain. Big steps we've made here today, Stanley.
Really?
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version.
Oh,
and to be perfectly
okay.
candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this
Let's
one.
go and see it then.
Let's take a look.
Yeah. The Stanley Parable leaderboard. Why would we need this? Also, still more of those red. Doors open, doors attempted, steps taken, endings achieved, all sorts of things. Did you know that once you skip the intro sequence, only the word choose the blue door are more active than Stanley Parable? 8 hours. How long does it take you to get to the correct door complete? Stanley is online. Wow. Why not ask some friends for help? Awards won, doors closed. This is rather interesting if you look at it like that. Let's go and take the orange door again.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
No.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on.
Oh, cool. Let's see it then.
A lovely opportunity to give it some play testing.
Let's go and see it then.
Taking a look at it, would you? Perfect.
Yes.
Let me boot it up.
Okay then. New game.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You
Okay.
click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice.
Really?
But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Nah. It's annoying. You don't need 4 hours to go and know that you don't want to do it.
Bastard.
Not
Did
really.
you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out.
Okay, bye.
I'm done. It's over. Thank you.
Hey,
for
also the
playing.
fire.
Your input was extremely valuable.
Really?
Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why
It
don't we play
isn't.
someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here?
Sounds so real, but also so fake.
Yes,
It's so good.
This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Okay then. Oh, this is Firewatch.
Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's
Watching
our backstory?
Firewatch.
What is our motivation? Well, it seems obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up high in your creep tower.
No.
Perhaps for some sort of twisted erotic purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even more. Come, let's venture outward and see what else is out there.
The original thing about Firewatch is kind of like a game like this. I have only seen a playthrough of it. And basically the dev was like, yeah, I don't like it, blah, blah, blah. That somebody made a playthrough of it, so... but the original experience is, apparently you sit in a Firewatch, you look for fires, and you get to go and solve puzzles and talk with people, so... Like I said, it's kind of like this game. I don't know if it had choices or not. But it's rather interesting.
No, it can't be.
What can't be? What?
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off. Oh, thank goodness, Stanley.
It wasn't an
Just
open world
call.
game.
You nearly wandered off into that thing, that big open
just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it.
But open world games can be a lot of fun.
Okay, I'm going to get us
But this is why you don't like open world games.
Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls.
I don't know what insurmountable is, but I guess unpassable or incapable of clipping and moving and things.
I think this will be just the thing.
Okay. Rocket League?
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
It's kind of funny because, in a sense, you can be lost in Rocket League in a different way.
There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley,
no.
I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must.
Oh, really now?
Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
And we don't have this booster or anything. Woo! We scored! And what is the explosion?
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Is this fun? Is it better than my miserable little story that I worked so hard on?
Not
Stanley,
really,
I have
currently.
A thought, and I realize I'm not a sportsologist, but if one ball generates a certain amount of raw adrenal pleasure, then surely multiple balls makes for an even more euphoric sports experience.
Not necessarily.
Here comes another ball. Yes! Oh goodness, that really does feel amazing, doesn't it? Stanley, I'm like a child in a confectionery shop. I simply have to have more. I'm insatiable.
Really?
More balls!
Damn it! Because I'm trying to score, I didn't look the spawning. Woo! But why didn't we go from 1 to 2?
Are you enjoying this, Stanley?
Actually, yeah!
Having fun? Is this a real video game?
I think so.
Well, I sure hope you're having a good time, because guess what? It's over.
What?
That's right. Your little time comes to an end. This is my game, and what I say goes. You get to have fun when I let you, Stanley. Besides, you need someone like me to set boundaries for you.
No.
Without rules or boundaries, video games are nothing. Yes, that's what I am. I'm structure. I'm your sense of purpose. And since you decided you didn't want to play my game, now I don't want to play with you either. So, goodbye, Stanley. I'm leaving. See how you like it when I'm not around to set the rules. Somehow, I don't think you'll enjoy it as much. But who knows?
Okay,
You're
yeah,
an
I
inventive
think I
kid.
agree.
You'll come up with something. After all, you're the one who knows best. Take care, Stanley.
Hi, narrator. I'll miss you, I guess. Probably just have to go into one of the goals. But there's an area behind it. So, yeah. Without the narrator, the game isn't probably as much fun. Because
Hold
that's
on.
one.
What are you doing?
Making my own game, as you said. Oh, beta.
Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you.
Really?
How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back. We still have...
Is that what you were? Yeah, I can't see anything here. I guess we're just supposed to leap off, or... Ah, I guess so. Because I literally couldn't see. Well, I guess we lost the narrator here, even if we're frozen in time for thousands and thousands of years. That doesn't matter. What mattered? The fact that we had... Well... The fact that we moved somewhere he couldn't go in space. So he can move through all of time, but not through all of space. Or at least for now. Until he conquers all of space. Oh, okay. So...
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
I don't know if
He'll
that's the
understand
case.
soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me.
Really?
Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear.
That's very
and
good,
confusion.
actually.
That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
This is very good. This is very well. This is like saying that, oh, the ending like this. And then it just resets and then the narrator is back. Because Stanley is just in a room and now you're kind of sitting there in that room like, what did we find? What happened there? So that was what the narrator was saying, that you have no idea what Stanley was doing there. You have no idea how the story continued. The narrator is the only one that tells you. So yeah, all you can have now is your personal theory, which basically means Stanley probably ran around in circles, pushing buttons and died. Maybe he found a way out, which nobody knew, and because the mind control device was deactivated, Stanley got his freedom somehow. But in reality, we do not know. For that, we need the narrator. And the narrator decided to say, no, I will not speak. I will not say a word. Stanley abandoned me too many times. He did the exact opposite of what I wanted. So now I have to punish him. So yeah, let us go and see what happens if we take the elevator correctly. So, see you there.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Now we're going over here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, it was under my control.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Really? You abandoned me?
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact
Sometimes.
is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Well, hasn't it also been about
Someone
you?
you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
I didn't forget you.
Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
No.
I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Oh, is that the
This is
lady
it,
voice?
Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who is she? I want her out of my life then. I don't know if I want that, but...
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this, to reach out to her.
Oops! Next time I'll
Stanley, is
just...
that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
Didn't
Who
you
wanted
say
to
that
commit
in
their
a
life to
different
you?
one?
I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Well, let's see what is really going on here.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What? When did that happen? Good morning, press G. Oh boy. We just have to do this.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons,
Wait.
doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work.
Kinda
One might
funny
even
he
feel
didn't
sorry
watch
for
the
him,
cutscene.
except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, In his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures.
Oh boy,
But
not
behind his
hallucinations.
desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown.
Oh, with the Firewatch.
Fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Well, because we chose it.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth.
Yes.
The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through
This is the
either.
story.
At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The
Yes.
mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Oh, this is so good because this is saying that you're always being controlled.
As he wandered through this fantasy world,
Oh, this
he
is
began to fill
constantly
it with many
changing.
possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And
yellow-
down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Oh, this is amazing because these are all the stories that are actually in the game.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and
Wait.
over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
This is also saying that, all of the stories you've heard, you were still being mind controlled in reality. That's also what it can mean. That's why I laughed.
But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one.
Oh, that's about the game and the video game you're playing. That some games are so addicted that you forget that the video game you're playing is just a game and just let it go. And that, yeah, the real world is far more important. So it's very interesting. This is, again, very well done. It's very well thought out. And it's also very connected. And that's what a lot of the story is. They're all also a bit intertwined and connected with one another. It's very well thought out, like I said.
And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer. That as long as he remains here,
It's truly
he's slowly
true.
killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop.
Well, I
Here,
did.
Watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I think we will have to go and press it, so I'll just stop waiting and press it.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Third person camera. But the thing that's also cool is that these buttons are slowly giving you a text of what to do and how to do it. And that those are also basically becoming commands in your mind, so the mind control. And slowly the room turned from, well, where we were before, into this room. The room which we start the game in. And it's basically saying that you're slowly again being mind controlled into what you were in the past.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply
You
play
do.
to my
You
intended
do make the
purpose,
ru-
the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button.
Oh,
And I tried.
and the game's over. This is, like I said, it keeps on being very good. It's very well all thought out. It's very wise. They really know what they're doing. But sadly enough, I think about that I have just gotten about every choice there is. I do think that there's still a bit more choices. But I need to go and figure them out. So I will probably go and look them up on the wiki. This is all I could do by myself. And, well, I'll look up the rest now. So. Hello! So, I basically did a bit of looking around, and I've seen that there is a lot of things to do still. A lot of endings. And there's apparently something known as the bucket. And apparently to get the bucket, you need to go and find a bunch of figures, which are all over the place. So, first things first, let's go and do the new content, which apparently if you do it the second time, there's a new thing there, so. But this game still has a lot to offer. Now, we're going to the new
good.
content.
You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
See, this is why it's different. The first time, this didn't happen. Okay, we are instantly here. Wait, so that means you only get to go and do this once? Unless you reset the data?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
the end is never the end.
Far
The
superior
end
to a
again.
measly re-release with a few minor additions. Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
Yeah, it really
This
could.
is what fans have truly been asking for.
Maybe. I mean, a secondary game of this would be really interesting, I would
Calling
say.
it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra
Well-
Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
It also screams new content never seen before. Not the same old things. Well, probably there are going to be the same old things. The sub-rooms are definitely going to be reworked or some endings. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a lot more interesting. That plan from the confusion ending. Look at it. Tell me the difference. Oh, it's going to be important. The way that the Stanley Parable 2 logo, they just picked the laziest one that they could. They're doing this on purpose. They're really trying to be like, oh, look, it's so much better than the Stanley Parable 1. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. Yeah, oh, that's so little. But this one, oh, it can have so much
Now, to
more.
be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
The new content buzz. But this is very well, because what he just said is what some game developers think a game actually is, or how a game is going to be developed. Just a bunch of lousy ideas, try them together, and then you get a game. And that's not necessarily what's going to be a game, because it has to go and be thought out. And then with the Stanley Parable 2 especially, this game is really well thought out about what it wants to be, how it wants to be, and what it does not want to be. And that's also what you're really seeing in the gameplay. And the endings and everything. It knows what it wants to be, why it wants to be that way. So, just taking a bunch of ideas and combining them is not going to go and make it. Well, let's go and see what it is. Your name in the game. Kickstarter. Enjoy the new features. Vlog. Press no screenshots. A whole new office. Red is the new orange. Orange is the new black. The new update, retracing for more of the same but in good secret to the style. And the text doesn't even fit on the screen. New features, new content, new ideas. Yeah. Jump card, infinite. A button that says the name of the player in the game. Use your name in the game. Button that says your name is the player in the game. Well, let's go and see what it's here then.
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
It's probably gonna go and say Stanley or nothing or whatever.
Jim.
Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name
No.
Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Mind control.
I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust.
Oh no,
Do you
no.
feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now?
No.
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
No. This game is about choice, and I'm choosing not to go and press the button. I don't feel like Jim. Do I have to accept that I'm Jim and have my hopes crumble into dust? Okay then. We are hopeless Jim.
Jim.
Yes! You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The button described you. Do it again. Do it again.
Fine.
Jim.
It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the Jim button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
But his name wasn't Jim. The person that at least talked about this. I don't know if the creator was Jim. I haven't seen that actually. It's very well thought out. Sort of like, oh yes, the button that does that. Oh, it's totally worth the money. No, it's not. He personally
I
knows
suppose I
that
could allow
it's not
only people
good.
named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Oh, this is so great. This is literally what it means for some game developers to go and make a sequel. It's just purely trying to go
An
and make
epilogue
people
would be
go.
fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, an epilogue. After you finish the game, there's more game. Actually, that's kind of what's happening with a bucket, as I said. It's very well thought out, this. Heading world champion. Yeah, that's an achievement, more or less. Collectibles, free achievement here. Huh. The jumping circle. Oh.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh, well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece, then.
Nice decorative piece. This is really well thought out. Promising
Okay, I'll
content
be
that isn't
honest, I
there.
haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Saying that, oh yeah, we're just gonna go dump some things in a game. We don't care.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is. Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No. No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
It's also kind of feels like that's just how the dev was thinking sometimes. You're like, ah, that's how we're doing it. Pull the lever, receive your new achievement, no more step. It just works. Get yours right now.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well,
Oh.
I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's a Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
There's probably a different way to get it. It's very well thought out again. Because it also controls you, because it's like, oh yes, an achievement. Oh yes, I want the achievement. Because I actually thought I was going to get it, and then it was like, no, what? But I want it. I want
What
the
else?
achievement.
What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
This here and that there, I think. Can you find them? Can you find them? Can you find them?
Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video
That's
game.
also in this game, though.
Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward.
There
for
actually is a
collecting all of them.
reward-ish.
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Collect them all. Yeah, I'm gonna go and collect them all.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Let's see. Jumping circle we've seen. This is map, we're here. Free achievement, that didn't work. The button that says the player's name, we've done that. Merch, I haven't seen, actually. Setting world champion, it was somehow close. The Stanley Parable Resume bucket. Bucket we don't got. Office decoration, we done that. Epilogues, we've seen that. Collectible, we've seen. Infinite hole. We probably just need to go here for the infinite hole. Exit.
Oh, goodness, Stanley, this is fairly awkward. I hate to do this, but before you leave, you really should go to the bucket exhibit. You see, there's a surprise I was going to spring on you later, and it involves the bucket. And I really do hate to break the illusion, but it's important that you go see the bucket, okay? All right, I'll get out of your hair now.
Yeah, I guess it is important that we see the bucket. Here's the merch. New feature bucket. Oh, that's where the bucket is. Yeah, let's first go here, though. I don't know whether he picks the opposite or whether it's just one of the two. With the balloons, I mean, that he's always going to go and pick the same one, or rather he's definitely going to go and say... He's really trying to go and just take so much extra
Stanley,
work for the
here's
whole...
an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game.
Oh no,
This is in
really?
fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Yes, we have totally not had these before. I'm not going to test it for my own safety. I don't know if it's an ending, but I will try it later. Because first, bucket. Second, we need normal exit. Where is the bucket? Ah, there. Too bad we used all of our drums. Betting champion is still not open. But that says Jim.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I am happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game.
Okay then.
It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes,
Yeah.
the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
So this is...
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Apparently, the bucket also gives you a different ending.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
Yeah, well, not really, but... this bucket is very well designed, actually. I mean, it doesn't really reflect light like a real bucket, but for the... oh, wait, inside it actually does. Yeah, the way that it hobbles up and down and makes a noise. Too bad it isn't, well, very much based on how much power you put on it, but... yeah, it is a pretty good bucket. It really is an interesting game. No screenshots, please.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
I would say right now, no. No.
Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Ah, boy. So we have a bucket, a machine, jumping circle,
here, right?
epilogue,
It's sort of
bucket.
Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go, version 2.
It's even more messed up than version 1
Who
somehow.
am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags.
Wait, is that...
And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything.
oh wait, I forgot
wanted
the
more
button that
than
says your
anything
name.
to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it.
That's
I can
indeed it.
take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well,
Let's
insert
open
a
Deluxe.
few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising
This is
conviction,
literally what he
"This
designed for
is
the Ultra
Stanley
Deluxe."
Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Wait. We actually do have settings? Yeah, I like these settings. Let's begin. Let's go and see what happens.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company
the balloons!
where he was employee number 427.
So, let
And
us
then
go
one
and
day,
see.
something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget to follow. No one had showed
the
up to
balloons
give him
again.
instructions. Call a meet. Never in all his years at the
More
company
balloons.
had this happened. This
Where is the bucket? The
All of
balloons.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Oh, the bucket.
Perhaps Stanley picked up the bucket.
And Lee picked up the bucket. I don't know whether this is the original game or not.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Yeah, let's do that actually. Let's go and see what actually happens.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
So this is the broom closet. This is also an ending. We're going to go and get that soon.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Oh. Defecative bathroom. Where is this game?
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember,
Hooray!
no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
I wouldn't necessarily call them pretty. Rich is a crime. To commit crime isn't it rich. What a life it would be to have to pick just one. What? Okay. Somehow I'm lost, but still.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would. And he knew it. The two of them were inseparable.
Yeah.
At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's
Why
desk.
would he put in 3
Nor in his
codes?
bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Hey, another figure.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
And it's probably gonna go and change the next time anyway.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Okay then. Good, that's a nice
Stanley
bucket.
and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Let's go then. Let's go and see what the mind control facility has.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket
Mind
both
control.
wondered to themselves.
It's very well how they keep on doing the text differently as well. Just because we have a bucket.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped.
Some are
Like
literally a
guinea pigs.
staircases or
The bucket
chair
had
there.
never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Hooray! Thanks, bucket. And if I start to cry, I can probably cry inside of the bucket.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What
I don't know.
kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place?
Agreed!
These questions
What do they?
raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in
Right it.
someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
But what if the bucket was being mind controlled, as
But
we
here
said
was
before?
the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Yeah, we will stop it.
For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends,
Oh.
Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way.
Oh.
The bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
And they say this game didn't have jokes. Well, it didn't have, but now it does, with the bucket.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Theoretically.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the
Hey,
bucket had
very
defeated
indeed.
their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door.
When
The
we're
bucket
allowed
wanted
to.
learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth.
What?
Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
Why?
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was
Oh, no.
Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed?
I guess so.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave.
What?
Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place.
Not with the
while he
bucket.
has such a precious bucket in his arms.
Oh, boy.
Not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket.
For
To
now.
be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself.
Really?
As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
The bucket was gone. He died alone. Well, okay then. So, let's go to the broom closet. I don't know if we're always going to go and get the bucket or not, but still.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Wait, this is a different text. How can we find them? With the wiki. At the very least. Oh. I probably took a wrong turn somewhere. Wait, why is a panda gun? I have no idea where we're going. I have no idea what the ending this is. I didn't check. But this is also why the reset save option exists in the game. So, when is this elevator going to plummet down? What, there's a high chance that it's just going to go and do that, okay? Okay, so you're just stuck in that elevator forever. Apparently without bucket.
Way.
First time I saw it like that. So the rest of that was more or less a waste of time, so yeah, I just skipped the ending bit, but so I'm going to go and have to end this episode here, and I'm going to go and have to do a lot more endings, because apparently, like I said, a lot of the endings are there when you have the bucket, as well as other things. So let's go and see that next time. So I hope to go and see you again next time. Till then, bye bye and have a nice day.